Captain Ilara Voss stood on the observation deck of the starship Aurora's Dawn, her eyes scanning the endless waters of Aurelia. The planet was a jewel among the galaxy's many worlds, its oceans vast, deep, and storm-tossed. Lightning crackled across the horizon, and waves the size of mountains rolled beneath the ship. Yet, hidden within these violent seas were secrets older than humanity itself, shipwrecks that had endured centuries of storms, holding tales of adventure, danger, and discovery. Ilara's team had come to Aurelia not for treasure alone, but for knowledge. The planet's history was intertwined with an ancient alien civilization known as the Velari, whose ships had long disappeared beneath the waves. For decades, legends spoke of explorers who had vanished while searching these waters. Ilara had always felt a pull toward the unknown, a need to uncover truths that others feared. Now, standing at the edge of Aurelia's storms, she felt that familiar surge of excitement. "Captain," called Joran Cade, the ship's lead scientist, "our scans are showing something unusual. Large debris near the northern trench, possibly a wreck partially buried." Ilara's eyes narrowed. "How deep?" she asked. "About 80 meters," Joran replied. "The shape is irregular, almost organic, and the hull shows strange symbols that pulse with light." Symbols. That word sent a thrill through Ilara. Ancient markings were the language of history, a way for the past to speak to the present. She had seen similar patterns in old human artifacts and alien relics. The idea that something on Aurelia might communicate across time fascinated her. "Prepare the submersible team," she ordered. "We're going down, and Joran—" She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. "Take every precaution. I don't want any surprises." The submersible, the Seeker, detached from the ship with a hiss and began its descent into the dark, swirling waters. Inside, Ilara, Joran, and the skilled pilot Mira Seelan felt the pull of the ocean pressing against the craft. The storm above seemed to echo in the submersible, lightning illuminating the waves in bursts of white light, creating shadows that danced across the hull. As they approached the wreck, Ilara's breath caught. Half buried in sand and coral, the enormous shipwreck loomed like a sleeping giant. Its metal hull was weathered and scarred, etched with the delicate patterns of the Velari, and yet some of the symbols glowed faintly as if welcoming them. Tentacles of seaweed and coral curled around its edges, and schools of luminous fish swirled through its open sections, giving the scene an almost magical glow. "Unbelievable," whispered Mira. "It's alive in a way." Ilara didn't reply. She felt it too. The shipwreck seemed to hum beneath them, subtle vibrations passing through the water. It was as if the wreck itself remembered, holding the echoes of those who had sailed before. Joran leaned forward, scanning the symbols. "These markings, they're not just decoration. They're a form of communication. Whoever built this wanted to leave messages. For us." Ilara's heart raced. A message across centuries from beings long gone, and perhaps from humans too. "We need to document everything, carefully. This is more than a wreck. This could be a story, waiting to be told." The submersible's mechanical arms extended, gently brushing away sand and debris to reveal more of the hull. Strange engravings became clearer. Waves, stars, and figures moving as if caught mid-action. Some symbols resembled humans, others alien. It was a mix of two worlds, ancient and mysterious. Suddenly, a faint light flickered from within the wreck. The submersible cameras picked up movement, though nothing appeared alive. It was a subtle rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. "Ilara, do you see that?" Mira's voice was tense. "Yes," Ilara replied. "It's responding, somehow, like it's aware of us." For hours, the team explored the exterior, documenting every detail. Then, as night fell over the stormy ocean surface, Ilara made a decision. "We go inside, carefully. This ship, It has secrets. The submersible docked with a breach in the wreck's hull. Inside, darkness swallowed them. Their lights revealed corridors lined with alien technology, glimmering and quiet. Some devices still pulsed with energy, though their purpose was unclear. Rust and salt had claimed much, but the craftsmanship was undeniable. As they moved deeper, Joran found a console covered in strange etchings. When he touched it, a holographic map flickered to life, displaying star systems and oceanic trenches, some familiar, some unknown. This is incredible," he said. "This isn't just a shipwreck, it's a library, a guide to the universe." Ilara felt a chill. If this was true, humans were standing on the threshold of knowledge that could change everything. But she also felt the weight of responsibility. Such power was dangerous if misunderstood. Suddenly, a low rumble shook the hull. The storm above had intensified, and the wreck responded with vibrations that shook the submersible. Panels rattled, and sand cascaded from the ceiling. "Hold steady," Ilara commanded. "We are not leaving until we understand what this wreck wants to show us." They followed the corridors, reaching a central chamber. The walls were covered in carvings depicting storms, ships, and strange beings guiding humans across the stars. In the center lay a pedestal, holding a small crystal that pulsed with light in a rhythm matching the vibrations they felt. "Ilara, it's alive," Mira said, voice barely above a whisper. "Not in the way we know, but it's aware. And it's communicating." Ilara stepped forward and placed her hand near the crystal. Visions flashed before her eyes. Stormy oceans, explorers braving impossible waves, ships sinking and rising again, glowing symbols appearing as messages. She saw herself and her team as part of a long line of humans and aliens, explorers reaching for the unknown, leaving marks for the future. She realized the truth. The wrecks were not just ruins. They were storytellers, etching lessons in metal and crystal, preserved by salt and storm. Each shipwreck carried wisdom, courage, and warnings for those who dared to follow. "We are part of their story now," Ilara whispered, "and it is ours to continue. Wisely." Outside, the storm raged, but inside, the team felt a calm determination. They had discovered something far greater than treasure. They had found a bridge between past and future, a testament to the enduring spirit of explorers. Humanity was small in the universe, but capable of remarkable things. The wrecks had chosen to reveal their tales to those worthy, and humans had proven themselves. As the Seeker prepared to return to the Aurora's dawn, Ilara took one last look at the glowing crystal. The shipwreck seemed to shimmer in acknowledgement, almost like a nod to the human spirit. She knew this was only the beginning. Aurelia held many more secrets, and the oceans still whispered tales of courage, wisdom, and survival. The journey had begun, and the old shipwrecks would tell their stories, etched by salt and storm, to those who had the courage to listen. Ilara turned to her team with a firm gaze. "We will return, and we will learn everything these wrecks have to teach. Humanity belongs in the story of the stars, and Aurelia has chosen us to write the next chapter." Above the waves, lightning split the sky, and the storm seemed to pause as if listening. Humanity had arrived, and the ocean, with all its ancient knowledge, was ready to speak. The storm above Aurelia had eased, leaving behind a restless sea that still churned and hissed. The Aurora's dawn drifted cautiously over the northern trench, and the Seeker had returned to the ship's bay. Ilara and her team were not merely content with a surface scan anymore. They had glimpsed a world beneath the waves that seemed alive with history. Now, it was time to dive deeper, not just into the wreck, but into the stories it held. Joran Cade, the ship's lead scientist, spread the holographic scans across the lab table. The images showed the massive hull of the wreck, the glowing symbols, and strange projections within its interior. "These markings are layered," he said, excitement in his voice. "They're like a library, but instead of books, they used energy and symbols. Each layer represents different events, some human, some Velari. We're looking at a record of exploration itself." Ilara leaned over the projection. Her fingers traced the lines of the symbols. So they weren't just building ships, they were recording their journeys. It's as if the wrecks were meant to teach whoever finds them. Mira Seelan, the pilot, joined them, wiping seawater from her hair. "Or warn them," she said softly. "I felt it inside the wreck, like it remembered pain and danger, like it was alive and watching us." Ilara nodded. "That's exactly what I felt. These shipwrecks are more than metal and coral. They're memory. And we are standing in the middle of a story that began long before humanity even reached the stars." The team suited up for a second dive. This time they intended to enter the wreck itself, to move through corridors that no human had walked in decades, or perhaps centuries. The Seeker descended once more into the dark, cold waters. As they approached the breach in the hull, the glowing symbols seemed to pulse faster, as though the ship recognized their intent. Inside, the corridors were narrow but majestic. The walls were carved with scenes of life aboard the Velari vessels, their sailors moving with precision and purpose. Some carvings showed humans among them, an indication that humans had once journeyed alongside these ancient beings. "Look at this," Joran whispered, pointing to a panel covered with alien etchings. "These are like logs, records of storms, navigation routes, and experiments. It's as if they were cataloging everything they encountered." Ilara's eyes fell on a large, circular room at the center of the wreck. Holographic lights flickered as if awakening from slumber. In the center of the room floated a sphere, softly glowing and pulsing like a heartbeat. The light spread across the walls, revealing more images, explorers braving violent seas, creatures unknown, and flashes of human and Velari collaboration. Mira tilted her head. "It's like they were telling us how to survive, or maybe how to be better explorers." The team paused, taking in the weight of the moment. Every pulse of light seemed to carry intention, every projection a lesson. The wreck was teaching them not through words, but through experience. Ilara approached the glowing sphere. As her hand hovered near it, the projections shifted, showing a sequence of events. She saw humans on a similar mission long ago, their ship caught in a storm. The images showed fear, bravery, mistakes, and triumphs. One frame revealed a human captain standing on the deck of a wrecked ship, marking symbols on the hull before being swept away by waves. "That captain, he was human," Ilara said, voice trembling. "He left these markings for us. He knew someone would come after him." Joran examined the sequence. "And the Velari were watching, helping, maybe guiding. There's a record here of cooperation between humans and an alien civilization. That's incredible. Humanity has been part of interstellar history far longer than we knew." The deeper they moved into the wreck, the more alive it seemed. Corridors shifted subtly under their feet, almost like the ship was breathing. Certain sections glowed more brightly when they approached, as if encouraging them forward. Suddenly, a low hum resonated through the submersible's hull. The team froze. Mira's fingers tightened on the controls. "Ilara, the ship is reacting," she said. "It's not just memories. It's alive in a way we don't understand." Ilara nodded. "It wants us to learn. That's why we're here. Every vibration, every pulse, it's guiding us through its story." In the central chamber, they discovered what appeared to be a command console, etched with Velari symbols and human markings. When Joran touched it, the holographic projections shifted again, showing a star map spanning multiple systems. Certain routes were highlighted in glowing lines, as if to indicate paths taken by past explorers. "These paths, they're not random," Joran said. "They show trade routes, supply lines, and locations of disasters. This is a warning system. They were charting danger as well as discovery." Alara stepped closer to the console. "They were teaching us to respect the unknown, to survive storms and conflicts. Every shipwreck tells a story of human courage and alien wisdom intertwined." As they studied the projections, Mira's attention was drawn to a small, damaged alcove. Inside lay a partially preserved ship's log. She carefully removed it and opened the brittle pages. The log described an expedition that had disappeared decades ago, the same one that had inspired legends on Earth. The captain's words were clear despite the wear. "We venture into the storm not for glory, but to understand the seas and the stars. Let this record serve as guidance for those who follow. Learn from our courage and our mistakes. The oceans and stars are alive. Respect them, and you may survive. Ignore them, and you may vanish as we have." Alara felt a lump in her throat. They weren't reckless. They were careful, but they knew the risks. They wanted to leave lessons, not just treasure. And now, it's our turn to learn. A sudden tremor shook the hull. Sand cascaded from the ceilings, and the glowing symbols flickered wildly. The storm above seemed to respond, waves crashing as if the wreck itself was alive and warning them. "Hold steady," Alara commanded. "We are not leaving until we understand what this wreck wants to show us." They worked quickly to stabilize the submersible, documenting the log and the symbols. Each team member felt a strange sense of connection to those who had come before. Humanity had always been explorers, risk-takers, and learners. Here, in Aurelia's ocean, they could see the pattern stretched across centuries and civilizations. Hours passed, and the storm finally began to calm. The wreck's vibrations slowed, its glow dimming but steady. It was as if the ship acknowledged their efforts, recognizing that humans were not just visitors, but part of a continuing story. Alara gazed at the holographic projections one last time. Faces of humans and Valari merged in the lights, creating a tapestry of shared courage and knowledge. "This is what I came for," she whispered. "Not gold or fame, but understanding. Humanity belongs in this story, not just as observers, but as participants." Joran placed a hand on her shoulder. "And we've only just begun. The ship has more to show us, if we're ready to listen." Alara nodded. "We will listen, we will learn, and we will make sure these tales survive. Humanity must remember the courage of those who came before and build on it." As they ascended to the surface, the wreck receded into the depths, its glow fading but not disappearing. The ocean had shared its first whispers of history, and humanity had proven it could hear them. Above, the aurora's dawn waited, lightning flickering in the distance, waves still churning, and the storm clouds drifting apart. Aurelia had revealed a fragment of its secrets, and the explorers were determined to uncover the rest. Alara looked out across the restless sea and felt a surge of hope. Humanity was small in the universe, but bold, curious, and resilient. They could face storms, navigate the unknown, and learn from the past. The echoes of the wrecks were clear. Courage, wisdom, and cooperation would guide them. And so, the journey continued. Aurelia's ocean whispered of more shipwrecks, more lessons, and more tales etched by salt and storm. Humanity had begun to understand, and the future awaited those willing to listen. The ocean around Aurelia had grown quiet after the storm. The aurora's dawn drifted silently above the northern trench, reflecting soft light across its polished hull. Yet below, in the depths, the mysteries of the shipwrecks remained alive. Captain Alara Voss and her team prepared for the next phase of exploration. They had learned that the wrecks were more than relics. They were libraries of experience, holding knowledge and warnings for those who dared to explore. Ilara checked her gear carefully. "This dive will take us deeper than ever before," she said. "The wreck's interior extends into tunnels and chambers that no human has seen. Stay sharp and remember why we are here. Curiosity guides us, but caution protects us." Joran Cade, ever eager, gave a determined nod. "I've never seen anything like this. The wreck seems almost alive. I want to know its secrets." Mira Seelan, their skilled pilot, adjusted the submersible's systems. "Then let's hope the ship welcomes us. I don't want any surprises." Descending once more into the dark, cold waters, the Seeker approached the labyrinthine corridors of the wreck. As they moved further in, the walls became more intricate, carved with symbols that pulsed softly. The lights of their submersible reflected off metallic surfaces and bioluminescent organisms clinging to the walls. Every corner seemed alive with memory, every shadow a whisper of the past. Suddenly, a series of movements rippled through the corridors ahead. Mechanical sounds echoed faintly in the water, and the submersible cameras revealed strange figures, alien guardians, perfectly preserved through centuries, moving with precise coordination. "Ancient defense mechanisms," Joran whispered. "They must protect the wreck's knowledge." Ilara felt a chill of excitement. "Then they will test us. This is part of the story. The wrecks aren't just memories. They are challenges. We need to show we are worthy." The Guardians, humanoid in form but metallic and jointed like sea creatures, observed the submersible closely. Their glowing eyes seemed to assess each human's intent. A wave of light pulsed from them, brushing against the hull. The team felt a subtle pressure in their minds, as if the Guardians could perceive thoughts and intentions. Ilara leaned forward. "They're not attacking yet. They're testing us." Mira carefully maneuvered the Seeker closer. "We should try communication, not aggression. Maybe they respond to actions more than words." Following Ilara's instincts, the team activated a series of signals from their submersible, light pulses and gentle vibrations that mirrored the rhythm of the Guardians' movements. The effect was immediate. The Guardians paused, their lights dimming slightly, as if acknowledging understanding. "They recognize our intent," Joran said, eyes wide. "It's like they want to see if we are respectful and capable." Ilara smiled faintly. "Then we proceed carefully. Show them what humans can do, not through force, but through intelligence and cooperation." The submersible guided them into a series of chambers filled with puzzles and mechanisms. Some rooms required precise timing to navigate rotating platforms. Others demanded quick analysis of symbols to unlock pathways. The Guardians watched silently, observing every choice and movement. In one chamber, a platform suspended over a deep pit required the team to calculate the exact sequence of energy pulses to cross safely. Mira's hands moved with steady precision, following patterns she noticed in the glowing symbols on the walls. Joran provided calculations, while Ilara coordinated their actions. Together, they crossed without incident. The Guardians emitted a low hum, almost like approval. As they advanced, they discovered more logs, some human, some Velari. These records told stories of explorers who had faced the same tests and often failed. Humans and Velari had once collaborated, each learning from the other. It was not only a record of knowledge, but a testament to teamwork and courage. In the next chamber, a holographic projection activated. It showed a storm at sea, with ships struggling against massive waves. Symbols appeared along the walls, depicting solutions to navigate the storm safely. Ilara studied them, recognizing patterns in the water currents, wind, and tides. "They want us to understand the environment," she said. "This is more than guidance, it's teaching us survival." Joran examined the projections in awe. "The level of understanding is incredible. They predicted conditions, responses, and even human decision-making. This is a record of intellect and observation. Moving deeper, they found a room with a pedestal holding a sphere similar to the one in the previous chamber. This sphere pulsed with light in a more complex rhythm, and the Guardians circled it in perfect synchronization. When Ilara approached, the sphere projected a vision. Humans and Velari working together to navigate the ocean, repairing ships, solving conflicts, and charting unknown territories. "This is a story of collaboration," Ilara said softly. "The shipwrecks are teaching us not just to survive, but to work together, to learn from each other." Mira added, "And they're showing us what humanity can do when we combine courage with intelligence." The Guardians stepped aside as the team interacted with the sphere, allowing the holographic projections to expand across the chamber. More details emerged: strategies for exploration, ways to handle storms, methods to communicate with unknown species, and even guidance on making moral decisions in difficult situations. Ilara realized the truth. These wrecks were more than guides. They were mentors, designed to teach civilizations that were curious and respectful. Only those who approached with care, intelligence, and bravery could access their lessons. Joren studied a series of diagrams etched into the walls. These designs, they could revolutionize how we build ships and navigate dangerous environments. Humanity could learn so much from this knowledge. Ilara placed her hand on the sphere, feeling the vibrations pass through her fingers and into her mind. Memories of past explorers merged with the present, creating a continuum of courage, intelligence, and determination. Humanity was not alone in its journey. It had always been part of a greater story. Suddenly, a low rumble shook the chambers. The Guardians activated, moving closer around the team. The sphere's light intensified, and the walls vibrated. The test had reached its climax. "Ilara, what do we do?" Mira asked, gripping the controls tightly. Ilara's gaze was steady. "We show them humanity. We remain calm, intelligent, and cooperative. That is our strength." The team coordinated their movements, using logic and teamwork to solve the final puzzle projected by the sphere. Symbols shifted, platforms aligned, and energy channels connected perfectly. The Guardians observed silently, their lights dimming in acknowledgement. A final pulse from the sphere washed over the team. Holographic images of humans and Velari celebrating their success appeared, showing gratitude, courage, and shared wisdom. The Guardians receded, allowing the explorers to proceed further into the wreck without interference. Ilara exhaled deeply. "We've passed the first real test. The wrecks recognize our worth." Joren smiled, energized by the experience. "We've learned so much already, and this is just the beginning. Think of the possibilities. Humanity could take these lessons and thrive among the stars." Mira nodded. "And we've proven that humans can face unknown challenges with intelligence and courage. We belong in this story." As they continued through the labyrinthine wreck, Ilara reflected on the lessons of the Guardians. Humanity's greatest strengths were not strength or firepower, but curiosity, intelligence, and collaboration. The wrecks had tested them, and the humans had succeeded, not by being the strongest, but by being worthy. Hours passed as they documented every symbol, projection, and lesson. Each room held more challenges, more stories, and more guidance. The Guardians followed silently, ensuring that the humans absorbed the knowledge responsibly. Finally, they reached a chamber that appeared to be the heart of the wreck. Here, the sphere pulsed steadily, and the Guardians formed a circle around it, lights glowing softly. The chamber's walls displayed the ultimate message: survival and wisdom required courage, intelligence, and respect for all life. Ilara turned to her team, voice steady and full of determination. We've proven ourselves worthy. Now it's our responsibility to carry these lessons forward. Humanity has a place in the stars, and we must honor it with every decision we make." Joran looked at the projections, awestruck. The wrecks are alive in their own way. They remember, they teach, and they guide, and they have chosen us to continue their legacy. Mira's eyes glimmered. "And we will. We're just getting started." Alara nodded, feeling the weight of history and the promise of the future. Humanity had faced tests, passed challenges, and earned the respect of ancient wisdom. The Guardians had observed, judged, and acknowledged their worth. And now, with the lessons of the wrecks in hand, they could continue the journey across the oceans of Aurelia and beyond. The ancient shipwrecks had revealed their secrets, guided by guardians that tested the very qualities that made humans exceptional. Courage, intelligence, collaboration, these were the keys to survival and growth. The team had passed the trials, and the story of humanity's place in the cosmos continued to unfold. As the Seeker ascended once more toward the surface, the wreck shimmered faintly in the deep waters, a living testament to exploration and the enduring spirit of those who dared to learn. Aurelia's ocean had tested them, and humans had proven themselves worthy. Above, the storm clouds had parted completely, and sunlight pierced the waves, reflecting off the aurora's dawn. Humanity had faced guardians of the past and had shown that courage, intelligence, and cooperation could open doors to knowledge even the ages had tried to hide. The journey was far from over, but part 3 of their adventure had solidified one truth. Humanity belonged in the stories etched by salt and storm, and their courage would echo across the oceans and stars. The ocean above Aurelia had returned to a restless calm, yet deep beneath, the ancient shipwrecks pulsed with hidden energy. Captain Alara Voss and her team had navigated the wreck's labyrinths, earning the respect of the Guardians and uncovering secrets that spanned centuries. But the wrecks had more to reveal, and their lessons were far from complete. Alara stood at the observation deck of the Seeker as it descended once more into the depths. The storm clouds above were gathering again, distant flashes of lightning painting the horizon. "Something is stirring," she said quietly. "The wrecks. They respond to the storms, and we're about to see why." Joran Cade adjusted the sensors, scanning the wreck's chambers. "I've never seen energy readings like this," he said, awe in his voice. "It's as if the ship itself reacts to our presence. The storm is feeding its power." Mira Seelan piloted the submersible carefully, avoiding debris and shifting currents. "Whatever is down there, it's bigger than any challenge we've faced. But we are ready." Descending through the final corridor of the labyrinth, the team entered a massive central chamber. The walls glowed with symbols, and the water hummed with a subtle vibration. In the center floated a large crystal, pulsing rhythmically. The chamber seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting as if alive. As they approached, the energy readings spiked. The submersible lights reflected off the crystal, illuminating holographic projections that filled the chamber. Waves of past storms, human explorers, and Valari navigators appeared, moving in perfect harmony. It was a vivid story, a lesson repeated through time. Alara felt a shiver. This isn't just history. The wrecks are alive in a way we didn't understand. They are teaching us and testing us. Joran examined the projections. The storm above isn't separate. It is part of the wreck's memory. The oceans, the weather, even the energy of the environment, all are linked to the lessons here. It's a living archive. Suddenly, the water around them began to shimmer, glowing streaks racing along the walls. The vibrations intensified, sending a tremor through the Seeker. The storm above mirrored the activity below, lightning flashing in precise patterns, waves climbing higher. Mira gripped the controls tightly. The wreck is responding directly to the storm. It's almost alive. I've never seen anything like it. Alara focused on the pulsing crystal at the center. Her mind absorbed the holographic images, the storms, the explorers, the decisions they had made, the courage they had shown. She realized the wrecks weren't just records. They were sentinels, guardians of knowledge that could only be accessed by those capable of understanding responsibility, intelligence, and courage. The vibrations suddenly intensified into a rhythmic pulse that resonated through their bodies. The holographic images shifted, showing a storm even larger than the one outside, waves towering over ships, lightning striking the oceans with blinding force. The human explorers in the projection struggled, their survival dependent on intelligence, coordination, and trust. Alara turned to her team. "This is the ultimate test. The wreck is showing us what humans are capable of. We need to respond correctly, or the lesson could be lost, or worse, dangerous." Joran analyzed the symbols appearing on the walls. "They're instructions, not just for surviving the storm, but for understanding it. We need to read the energy patterns, the currents, the lightning sequences, and anticipate the next move." Mira nodded. "Then let's focus. We can do this together." The team worked in harmony, coordinating their actions with the rhythm of the crystal and the projections. They adjusted the submersible's position to match the energy flows, followed the currents shown in the holograms, and interpreted the symbols with precision. Slowly, the chaotic pulses of the wreck began to stabilize, and the storm's intensity above seemed to reflect their progress. The holographic images revealed a critical moment. The human explorers of the past were caught in a dangerous tidal wave. In the projection, one captain directed the crew with calm and clarity, making split-second decisions that saved lives. Alara recognized the lesson clearly. Courage alone was not enough. Intelligence and cooperation were equally vital. "Steady," she whispered. "We follow the patterns, trust each other, and respect the power around us. That's what they want to see." Joran's hands moved over the controls, interpreting the energy pulses. "The currents are shifting. We need to adjust to the resonance of the wreck. If we synchronize, we can stabilize this chamber and learn the final lesson." Mira piloted the Seeker with expert precision, matching the movement of the holographic waves and the rhythm of the crystal. The submersible's lights reflected the glow of the chamber, creating a symphony of motion and energy. As they synchronized, the wreck responded. The crystal pulsed in perfect rhythm, the holographic storms calmed, and the vibrations through the water became steady. The Guardians, once tense and watchful, relaxed, their lights dimming to a soft glow. Alara felt a profound sense of accomplishment. "We did it," she said softly. "We've shown that humanity can understand, adapt, and respect the power of the unknown." Joran smiled, his eyes wide with awe. "The wreck isn't just teaching survival, it's teaching wisdom, intelligence, courage, cooperation, and respect for forces greater than ourselves." Mira exhaled. "And we've passed. The wreck recognizes it. Humanity has proven its worth." The crystal at the center of the chamber emitted a final steady pulse. The holographic projections shifted, showing humans and Valari working together, navigating storms and charting new paths. Symbols on the walls transformed into patterns that seemed to glow with approval, a visual acknowledgement of the human's success. Alara approached the crystal. Her hand hovered above it, feeling the vibrations of the wreck. In that moment, she understood the message clearly. Knowledge is not a prize to take, but a responsibility to honor. The storms and the wrecks were teachers, and humans were students in a lesson that spanned generations. "Joran, Mira, we need to document everything," she said. "Every symbol, every sequence, every lesson. Humanity must carry this forward." Joran nodded, already scanning and recording. "We will. This is more than science. It's history, philosophy, and courage all at once." Mira added, "And the Guardians. They'll ensure that only those who understand this lesson can access it in the future. The wreck is alive, yes, but it teaches only to the worthy." Ilara smiled, a sense of pride swelling in her chest. "Then humanity has passed the test. We've shown courage, intelligence, and respect. Now it's time to carry the lessons forward." As the Seeker prepared to ascend, the storm above Aurelia began to calm. Lightning flickered one last time before fading, waves returning to a rolling but manageable rhythm. The wreck shimmered faintly below, its energy settling as if content with the humans' progress. Ilara looked out at the ocean, reflecting on the journey so far. Aurelia had tested them with storms, guardians, and ancient lessons. Humans had faced every challenge with intelligence, courage, and cooperation. The wrecks had revealed their knowledge, teaching the importance of understanding and respect. "Part of this story belongs to us now," she said softly. "We are connected to those who came before, and we have a responsibility to the future." Joren and Mira nodded. They had seen it, felt it, and understood it. Humanity's place in the story etched by salt and storm was not by chance. It was earned through courage, wisdom, and the will to learn. As the Seeker broke the surface, the Aurora's dawn waited. The wreck below rested, silent but alive, its lessons preserved for those ready to hear them. The team knew there was more to discover, more wrecks, more guardians, more knowledge. Aurelia's ocean was vast, and its stories were infinite. Ilara took one last look at the waves, feeling a deep sense of connection to the explorers of the past. Humans had survived storms, faced tests, and earned respect. And in doing so, they had proven that curiosity, intelligence, and courage were traits that could bridge centuries, species, and civilizations. Above them, the sun pierced through the clouds, casting golden light across the restless sea. The wrecks below had awakened, shared their wisdom, and acknowledged the human's worth. The journey was far from over, but humanity had earned its place in the story. The oceans whispered more tales, the wrecks waited to reveal them, and Captain Ilara Voss knew one truth clearly: humans had the courage, intelligence, and heart to face the unknown, and the storm, once wild and unyielding, now seemed to watch with quiet approval, a promise that the lessons of Aurelia would continue to guide those who dared to listen. The storm had passed completely, leaving Aurelia's oceans calm but still alive with hidden currents. The Aurora's dawn floated gently on the surface, its hull reflecting the golden sunlight that spilled across the endless waters. Captain Ilara Voss stood at the observation deck, her gaze fixed on the horizon. Beneath the waves, the shipwrecks rested, their lessons etched by salt and storm, waiting for the next generation of explorers. Ilara felt a sense of accomplishment. Yet the adventure had left her with a deeper understanding. Humanity's courage, intelligence, and cooperation had earned recognition from the guardians of the wrecks. They had faced challenges, interpreted messages, and proved that they could honor the wisdom of those who came before. Joren Cade joined her, carrying a tablet filled with scans, logs, and holographic recordings. "We've documented everything we could," he said. "The wrecks hold knowledge that could guide humanity for centuries: navigation techniques, storm patterns, survival strategies, even ways to interact with alien species. It's all here." Ilara nodded. "And more importantly, we've understood the lesson. Knowledge is not just for collection. It's for respect, for careful use, and for guiding others." Mira Selin appeared behind them, adjusting her gloves. "The Guardians acknowledged us. That was something I didn't expect. I thought they would remain distant. But they trusted us." Ilara smiled. "Trust is earned through action, Mira. We have shown that humans can face the unknown with wisdom and courage. That is why the wrecks shared their secrets with us. Below the ship, the wreck shimmered faintly in the water, its glowing symbols reflecting the calm sunlight. The vibrations that once surged with the storm had slowed into a gentle rhythm, as if the ship itself were content. Humanity had been tested and had succeeded. The team prepared to ascend to the surface, but before leaving, Ilara decided to take one last dive into the wreck. She wanted to honor the lessons, to witness the stories etched into its walls one more time. Inside, the chambers glowed softly. Holographic images replaying moments from the past. Explorers navigating storms, Velari and humans collaborating, ship captains making decisions with courage and intelligence. Ilara reached out to the central crystal, feeling its gentle pulse beneath her fingers. In that instant, she understood the depth of the message. These wrecks were not just archives, they were teachers. They recorded not just events, but the values that had allowed civilizations to survive. Courage in the face of danger, intelligence in solving problems, and cooperation with those around you. She whispered to herself, "We carry this forward. Humanity belongs in these stories." Joren and Mira joined her at the crystal. Together they watched the holographic images, seeing their own reflections among the explorers of the past. Their actions, decisions, and teamwork had become part of the narrative. They were no longer just observers. They were participants in a story that spanned centuries, bridging human and Velari experience. "Look at this," Joren said, pointing to a sequence of symbols on the wall. "It's showing the path forward beyond Aurelia. These wrecks were guiding explorers toward new worlds, new knowledge. We're part of that path now." Mira's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Then we don't just return with data. We return with purpose. Humanity has a role to play, and these wrecks have chosen us to continue it." Ilara nodded, feeling the weight and the promise of that responsibility. "We will share these lessons, not just the knowledge, but the spirit, the courage, the intelligence, the respect for the unknown. Humanity must remember that our strength lies in more than our technology. It lies in our character." They ascended to the surface, leaving the wreck behind. The sunlight reflected off the calm waves, creating patterns that mirrored the symbols below. The aurora's dawn welcomed them back, and the crew worked together to process the data and logs. Every member of the expedition felt a sense of pride and humility. They had seen the power of ancient knowledge, the wisdom of civilizations long gone, and the capacity of humans to rise to challenges. Ilara gathered her team in the ship's briefing room. "What we have discovered is invaluable," she said. "But it is also a reminder. Knowledge comes with responsibility. We have been entrusted with lessons that could shape humanity's future. We must share them wisely and honor the courage of those who left these messages behind." Joren leaned forward. "We can teach others how to navigate dangerous environments, how to cooperate, how to respect life beyond our own. Humanity can grow stronger because of this knowledge, and it can inspire explorers across the galaxy." Mira added, "And we've proven that humans can face tests designed by civilizations far older than ourselves. We are capable of intelligence, courage, and compassion, even in the most challenging situations." Ilara's gaze turned toward the horizon, where the sun dipped closer to the ocean. "This is just the beginning. There are more wrecks, more lessons, and more stories waiting. We will continue to explore, to learn, and to share." Humanity's place in the universe is not given. It is earned through action and wisdom. Over the following weeks, the team worked tirelessly to compile and transmit their findings to Earth and nearby colonies. Every symbol, every projection, every lesson was preserved. The story of Aurelia's shipwrecks became a source of inspiration, a reminder of what humans could achieve when guided by courage, intelligence, and respect. News of their discoveries spread quickly. Scientists, explorers, and young students on distant planets looked to Aurelia as a symbol of humanity's potential. The lessons of the wrecks were taught in classrooms, discussed in councils, and used to guide expeditions. Humanity's curiosity and perseverance had been recognized not just as traits, but as qualities that allowed civilizations to thrive in a vast and mysterious universe. Ilara often returned to the observation deck, looking at the ocean that had tested them. She thought of the guardians, the glowing symbols, and the holographic projections. Each element had been a lesson, a challenge, and a testament to the enduring spirit of those who had come before. She understood now that courage, intelligence, and collaboration were universal truths, values that could bridge species, time, and the vastness of space. One evening, as the sun set, she stood silently, watching the ocean glow with the last light of day. The wrecks below shimmered faintly, like distant stars hidden beneath the waves. In that moment, Ilara felt a profound connection to all explorers, human and alien, past and future. She whispered, "We are part of this story, and we will carry it forward." Mira joined her, smiling. "Do you think the wrecks will ever speak to others?" Ilara nodded. "They will. To those who are ready to listen. Humanity has proven itself worthy, and the lessons will continue to guide anyone brave enough to seek them." Joran approached, holding a tablet filled with the holographic records. "We have so much to share. We can inspire new generations, show them that curiosity, courage, and wisdom are as important as any technology. Humanity's story is still being written." Ilara placed a hand on the railing, feeling the gentle breeze of Aurelia's ocean air. "And we will ensure that it is written with honor. Every storm we face, every unknown we explore, we leave a mark, just like those before us. Salt and storm, courage and knowledge, that is what endures." As night fell, the ocean reflected the stars above, creating a mirror of the galaxy in the calm waters. The wrecks below rested silently, their lessons etched permanently in their structure, waiting for those who had the courage to seek them. Humanity had arrived, had proven its worth, and had become part of the narrative of the stars. Ilara knew one truth clearly: courage, intelligence, and respect were the keys to surviving the unknown, and humanity had them in abundance. The wrecks had shared their tales, the storms had tested their resolve, and the oceans had whispered of possibilities beyond imagination. And somewhere in the deep waters of Aurelia, the shipwrecks shimmered faintly, knowing their stories had been heard. Humans had passed the test. They had proven that they could listen, learn, and honor the lessons of the past. The tales etched by salt and storm would continue, carried by those willing to face the unknown with heart, mind, and courage. Ilara turned to her team, her voice steady and warm. "We have a duty now, to explore, to learn, and to inspire. The lessons of Aurelia are ours to carry. Humanity belongs in these stories, and our journey has only just begun." The Aurora's dawn sailed toward the horizon, carrying humans who had faced the unknown and emerged wiser, braver, and united. The ocean behind them rippled gently, as if whispering farewell, yet promising that the tales etched by salt and storm would always endure, waiting for the next explorers to listen and learn. And so, humanity's story continued, etched not in gold, not in conquest, but in courage, intelligence, and respect for the mysteries of the universe. Aurelia's shipwrecks had spoken, and the echoes would guide generations to come.